How's it going, everybody? Doing a reading video today. I'm going to be reading a couple of just short things from these two scary stories to tell in the dark books. I got the first one, and the third one, I am missing the second from the set. I used to get these when I was a kid, and they got like the disturbing. They got rid of the artwork, but you get like kind of really cool looking, kind of disturbing art, especially if you were, a young kid. I'm gonna go. There's outside noise coming in through the window. The AC still in. It's gotta go out. I'm hoping this thing is not picking up much of it. But I will start with one. I'm gonna go for shorter ones here because I don't want to win myself. First one, I gotta do the big toe. I've probably done a few of these before in the past. This is a classic one, though. A boy was taking at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. Tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something. So he gave it a good hard jerk. Sorry. And it came off in his hand. That had to have been done on purpose. But then he heard something groan and scamper away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. It looks nice and plump, she said. I'll put it in the soup and we'll have it for supper. That night his father carved the toe into 3 pieces. And each had a piece. Then they did the dishes, and when it got dark they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night, a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him. "Where's my toe?" it groaned. The boy heard that. He got very scared, but he thought, "It doesn't know where I am. It will never find me." Then the voice. Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. The boy pulled the blankets over his head and closed his eyes. "I'll go to sleep," he thought. "When I wake up, it'll be gone." But soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice. "Where is my toe?" it groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps move through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside the door. "Where is my toe?" the voice groaned. His door opened, shaking with fear. He listened as the footsteps slowly moved through the dark toward his bed. Then they stopped. "Where is my toe?" the voice groaned. And then it tells you this. This is great. At this point, then jumped at the person next to you and shouted, "You've got it." The big toe also has another ending. When the boy hears the voice calling for its toe, he finds a strange-looking creature up inside the chimney. The boy is so frightened he can't move. He just stands there and stares at it. Finally he asks, "Ooh, what have you got such big eyes for?" And the creature answers, "To look you through and through." "What do you got such big claws for?" "To scratch up your grave." "What do you got such a big mouth for?" "To swallow you whole." "What have you got such sharp teeth for?" "To chomp your bones." As you give the last line, pounce on one of your friends. The Thing here. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were good friends. They spent a lot of time together. On this particular night, they were sitting on a fence near the post office talking about one thing and another. There was a field of turnips across the road. Suddenly they saw something crawl out of the field and stand up. It looked like a man, but in the dark it was hard to tell for sure. Then it was gone. But soon it happened again. It appeared again. It walked halfway across the road, then it turned around and went back into the field. Then it came out a third time and started toward them. By now, Ted and Sam were scared, and they started running. When they finally stopped, they decided they were being foolish. They weren't sure what had scared them. So they decided to go back and get a better look. Pretty soon they saw it, for it was coming to meet them. It was wearing black pants, a white shirt, and black suspenders. Sam said, "I'm going to try and touch it, then we'll know if it's real." He walked up to it and peered into its face. It had bright, penetrating eyes sunk deep in its head. It looked like a skeleton. Ted took one look and screamed, and again he and Sam ran, but this time the skeleton followed them. When they got to Ted's house, they stood in the doorway and watched it. It stayed on the road for a while, then it disappeared. A year later, Ted got sick and died. Toward the end, Sam sat up with him every night. The night Ted died, Sam said he looked just like the skeleton. I'm going to read the guests. A young man and his wife were on a trip to visit his mother. Usually they arrived in time for supper. They had gotten a late start, and now it was getting dark. So they decided to look for a place to stay overnight and go on in the morning. Just off the road, they saw a small house in the woods. Maybe they rent rooms, the Whites said. So they stopped to ask. An elderly man and woman came to the door. They didn't rent rooms, they said, but they would be glad to have them stay overnight as their guests. They had plenty of room and they would enjoy the company. The old woman made coffee and brought out some cake, and the four of them talked for a while. Then the young couple were taken to their room. They again explained that they wanted to pay for this, but the old man said he would not accept any money. The young couple got up early the next morning before their hosts had awakened. On a table near the front door, they left an envelope with some money on it for the room. Then they went on to the next town. They stopped in a restaurant and had breakfast. When they told the owner where they had stayed, he was shocked. "That can't be," he said. "That house burned to the ground, and the man and the woman who lived there died in the fire." The young couple could not believe it, so they went back to the house. Only now there was no house. All there was, for they found, was a burned-out shell. They stood staring at its ruins, trying to understand what had happened. Then the woman screamed. In the rubble was a badly burned table, like the one they had seen by the front door. On the table was the envelope they had left that morning. Find a few from Scary Stories 3. More tales to chill your bones. This one's nice and short. The Appointment. A 16-year-old boy worked on his grandfather's horse farm. One morning he drove a pickup truck into town on an errand. While he was walking along the main street, he saw Death. Death beckoned to him. The boy drove back to the farm as fast as he could and told his grandfather what had happened. "Give me the truck," he begged. "I'll go to the city. You'll never find me there." His grandfather gave him the truck, and the boy sped away. After he left, his grandfather went into town looking for Death. When he found him, he asked, "Why did you frighten my grandson that way? He's only 16. He's too young to die." "I am sorry about that," said Death. "I did not mean to beckon to him, but I was surprised to see him there. You see, I have an appointment with him this afternoon in the city." Faster and faster. Sam and his cousin Bob went walking into the woods. The only sounds were leaves rustling and now and again a bird chirping. "It's so quiet here," Bob whispered. But soon that changed. After a few minutes, the two boys started whooping and hollering and chasing one another around. Sam dug behind a tree. When Bob came by, Sam jumped out at him. Then Bob raised ahead and hid behind a bush. When he looked down, there at his feet was an old drum. "Sam, see what I found," he called. "It looks like a tom-tom. Bet it's 100 years old." "Look at the red stains on it," said Sam. "I bet it's somebody's blood. Let's get out of here." Bob could not resist trying the drum. He sat on the ground and held it between his legs. He beat on it with one hand, and then slowly, then the other. Slowly at first, then faster and faster, almost as he could not stop. Suddenly there were shouts in the woods and the sound of hoofbeats. A cloud of dust rose behind a line of trees. The men on horseback galloped towards him. "Bob, let's go," Sam shouted. He began to run. "Hurry." Bob dropped the drum and ran after him. Sam heard the twang of a bow firing an arrow. Then he heard Bob scream. When Sam turned, he saw Bob pitch forward, dead. There was no arrow in his body, and there was no wound. And when the police searched there was no men on horseback. There was no hoof prints. There was no drum. The only sounds were rustling, leaves rustling, and now again a bird chirping. I think I'm gonna stop there on those 5. I don't want to like I said, I gotta build up my video stamina. Even though I did do a 20-minute ramble yesterday, I'm gonna try to film another video today. Maybe controller sounds, maybe a movie review. I don't know. But yeah, it's just reading some quick stories from these 2 scary storybooks. And thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.